new survey finds that freelance workers earned nearly $1 trillion last year. That's 5% nearly of our GDP, and it's more than industries like construction, transportation, or mining. The survey also found there are 57 million Americans participating in the freelance economy, and those workers consider freelancing more than ever a long-term career option. Joining me now is Stephane Kasriel. He's CEO of global freelancing platform Upwork. Stephane, welcome. You guys celebrating just about a year as a publicly traded company. And after today's jobs report, what do you think freelancing can tell us about the economy today?
Well, it's a continuation of the same, which is a really strong recovery in the job market. The numbers in the job report were a little bit lower than people expected, but nonetheless quite strong. And what this means is workers have increasingly a choice, and particularly highly skilled people. And so increasingly millennials and highly skilled workers are choosing to be freelancers.
What's the difference between freelancers and gig workers?
Yeah, well, so we run this study every year, and every year we ask people, what do you want to be called? And gig work is very low on the list. Most people want to be called self-employed, they want to be called independent professionals, but they see themselves as highly skilled, having a choice, and they don't want to be called gig workers.
What are the top industries that we're talking about here? Because when we're talking about the gig economy, we all think of Uber and some of those different kinds of things. When we're talking about freelancers, I mean, we're talking about vastly different kinds of industries, right?
Right. So 45% of freelancers in the U.S. are in the skilled categories, and the biggest ones tend to be around design and creative, software development, consulting, finance and accounting, legal work, those types of things.
And this is really attractive to people who want to work from home, maybe do so on their own time, be self-employed, like you said. The major downside is it doesn't come with healthcare benefits, and that's why a lot of employers obviously move to hiring freelancers instead of full-time workers. How do people who get jobs through Upwork get health benefits, and how important are health benefits to them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the short answer is people charge more when they are freelancers than what they would get paid as full-time employees because they have to cover for their benefits. There are some tax considerations where in many cases they pay less taxes as a result, so those things tend to even out. But more than 80% of freelancers are paying for their own benefits. And one finding in the study is that they are increasingly politically active. They're more active than non-freelancers. And the number one thing they want from elected officials is affordable health care.
That absolutely makes sense. So where do you see this trend going? The number of freelancers actually hasn't grown that much over the last several years. It's pretty steady. It sounds like it's just going to be a permanent piece of our labor market, or do you see it differently?
Yeah, so it grew really quickly for the first 4 years between 2014 and then 4 years later. The last couple of years have flattened out a bit. And really what's been happening is there was a portion of the freelancers that said, I'm doing this by necessity, but I would prefer to get a full-time job. And given the state of the job market, those freelancers have exited the freelance workforce. But meanwhile, the people that do this full-time, see this as a permanent choice and do this by choice are continuing to increase. And I think that's going to continue to be the case, even if only for one reason, which is a generational shift. The baby boomers are much less likely to be freelancing. The millennials and Gen Z, more than 50% of Gen Z is freelancing today. And so as the baby boomers retire and millennials and Gen Z are becoming the majority of the workforce, that's going to continue to drive those numbers up and benefit platforms like Upwork as a result.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And as you said, we'll also continue to keep healthcare as a #1 issue. Stephane, thanks very much for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.